There's a lot of, I want to marry her because I want to save myself from the hellfire. Or I want to marry her because, I just want to build a Muslim family. I want to marry her because she's righteous or religious. And we're constantly overlooking the fact that looks, body shape, and type all play a factor, or should play a factor, in the choice that a man makes to marry a woman. If you have no physical desire to be with the woman, don't marry her. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the ayat, فَانْكِحُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ. Marry the women that meet your personal preferences. Meaning, you are allowed in Islam to have a type. You are allowed as a man in Islam to have a type. Albeit, those should not be the only reasons, because then that would make you superficial. It should not be the only reason that you marry the woman, but it should be included amongst the reasons. The Prophet ﷺ said that women are usually married for 4 reasons. One of those 4 was what? لِجَمَالِهَا, for her beauty. Nothing wrong with a man choosing a woman for her physical looks. Nothing wrong with that. But this whole idea, I don't care how she look, I just want to marry a sister, who's deening, a sister who's on her deen, that is delusional thinking. You're delusional. You're delusional. You might be on a spiritual high when you make a comment like this, but the moment you get into an argument with her, all of, once the dopamine wears off and you can kind of see her for who she is, you're going to resent yourself for doing that. You're going to resent yourself for doing that. So if a man has no interest, this woman presented herself to the Prophet ﷺ. He looked the woman up and he lowered his head as an indication that he had no interest in her. And so Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar, he says, from the fawaid, from the benefits in this hadith, is that a man should not marry a woman that he has no interest in. فيه أن الرجل أن لا ينكحها إلا إذا وجد في نفسه رغبة فيها ولهذا صعد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم النظر فيها وصوبه. That a man should not marry a woman that he does not find within himself a desire for that woman. And it was for this reason the Prophet ﷺ looked the woman up and then lowered his head as an indication that he had no interest in her. And so you have so many people, and the same goes for women as well. But men are in a more powerful position and to make those type of decisions. Women usually will not even pursue a man if she's not physically attracted to him. That's usually not going to happen. It has to be some level of physical attraction. But sometimes men can be so, deluded, self-deluded into thinking that, oh, well, she's religious, she's righteous, or whatever the case may be. And, and this is especially true for women who wear niqab. Women who wear niqab. There are a lot of women who wear niqab not because they believe that it is obligatory upon them. They don't wear it because they believe that this is necessary part of the deen. They wear it because they don't feel pretty. That's a fact. That's something that we don't want to talk about. There are a lot of women who wear niqab. And I know as soon as I post this, women will be all in the comments, I wear my niqab, I know I'm beautiful, blah, 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 to the end of it. But you don't get to decide if you're beautiful. You know who decides if you're beautiful? Who decides if you're beautiful? Because you believing you're beautiful means nothing in the grand scheme of relationships. The man has to believe that you are beautiful. The man has to believe that you're beautiful. If you believe you're beautiful, that means nothing. No man is going to marry you because you believe you are beautiful. He has to see the same thing in you that you see in yourself. If you see in yourself one thing, but he doesn't see that, nothing is going to transpire. If he sees in you what you see in yourself, then that's going to happen. But a man should not pursue a woman if he has no interest in her. The same way the Prophet ﷺ did not pursue this woman because he had no interest in her. It wasn't just about marrying women because you can. In Islam, we don't marry women because they are available, readily available in the community, or because they're desperate enough to marry us. We marry women because there's an interest that you have, an interest that you have in the woman. You guys follow me? There has to be an interest in the woman. But you don't marry somebody that you have no interest in, because what happens to a man that marries a woman that he is not attracted to, or marries a woman that he doesn't really have an interest in her? He's just marrying her for the sake of convenience. What ends up happening? Huh?
But
Hold on. Somebody, huh? He gonna find another wife. He's going to search for someone else that has what he really wants. And in that, you as a woman are going to feel that I wasn't the one. He married me for something other than what he told me. Because you'll see a man who has multiple wives and he has one wife that look like this, one wife look at that, and you're looking and you're saying, okay, I see what's going on here. You know. Go ahead. Somebody you guys raise your hands. He's not fulfilled, right?
I would think that women are doing this more than men. Like women are marrying the man and not really looking at the physical like that. I mean, I've done it. I'm not ashamed to say it. I've done it and it caused me a lot of problems within myself. So I wouldn't do it again. But I think that women would be more okay with the man being less attractive than the men doing it. I mean, are men really marrying women that they're not attracted to? Like, really?
I don't know about now, because men are a little bit more privileged in today's time, because they're not necessarily binded by the Muslim community in their choice of woman. The reins are kind of like off, and the parameters have been, the boundaries have been expanded. So a lot of Muslim men are now venturing outside, especially within the African American Muslim community. They're venturing outside of their own communities. Whereas maybe 20 years ago, African American Muslim men were kind of more restricted, may not have felt that they were adequate enough or qualified enough to step outside of their community. But now in today's time, there's a lot of men, African American Muslim men, that are marrying outside. They don't feel that they are restricted to women within the African American Muslim community. So probably a lot less today of men marrying women that they're not necessarily attracted to. But I can say maybe 20 years ago, there was a lot of that. There was a lot of that. Because there were these invisible parameters, and Muslim men felt like they could only marry within their community. So they would just marry sisters, just for the sake of marrying, or just for the sake of the convenience of marrying them. But today, your brothers are traveling all over the world, marrying sisters from other countries, marrying sisters from other cultures. And so there's not necessarily a need. There's no desperation for a man to marry only within his community. He has options. Yeah. But a woman could handle marrying a man that is not necessarily, the most handsome guy. And women do it all the time, whether Muslim women or non-Muslim women, they do it all the time. Because for women, they're looking at the bigger picture. It's not just about his looks. It's not about his looks. It's about his personality. It's about, you can find a guy who is very hard on the eyes, but he makes her laugh. He has a great personality. He's, she feels, safe, guarded, protected around him. She feels that she can be herself around him. She doesn't feel threatened by him, right? So she's able to, all of those things help to offset what he is missing in terms of his physical looks. He might have a lot of money. So all of those things, but a man can't really handle that, because we're physical creatures. We are motivated by what we see. Women are motivated by what they hear. You know, so a woman would be less, less pressed to, be with a man that's extremely handsome. As a matter of fact, some women avoid men who are extremely handsome. They avoid men like that because in their experience, they may believe that men that are extremely handsome come with their own share of trials and tribulations that, they don't necessarily want to deal with. So they would opt for a man that is not extremely handsome, so as to avoid the fitna and the drama that comes with that. And you have some men who do the same. They would opt for a woman who's maybe not necessarily extremely gorgeous, maybe less than that a little bit, because they know that a woman, who's aware of her, her looks and aware of her, how she's represented physically, he's aware of the fitna and the drama that brings,